Well. Let's make sure the microphone's working because, as you can tell, I'm using a different microphone this time. I'm using the little Fee-Fine, and I thought, well, I'll use it with this little microphone boom and see if I can get a little bit better audio as opposed to using the Blue Yeti sitting on a tabletop because it is about 1.5 feet away from me, so I figured maybe the audio is going to be a little bit better using this. So the audio level on OBS seems to be good. So this video I'm going to kind of keep short and sweet and right to the point. It's not, and I apologize that I didn't really schedule this in advance because, well, it's been some developments that have happened. And a couple of them are a little bit concerning to me and they're a little bit upsetting. I'm going to move this boom just a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me well. What I'm going to do with this video is I am not going to leave it live on my upload. What I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to put it in the community tab. I'm going to unlist this video when I'm done, stick it in the community tab. So for those of you that are curious about the SJ10 Pro, what's going on with it, my experiences with it, some of the frustrations that I have. Is that RMC? Shakar, hello there. How are you doing? I saw Bad Karma was on earlier. I don't know if he's still on or not. But there's not very many times that I do a video to where I am upset about a company, because I always try to give the companies every opportunity to rectify any type of problem that I may have with their product. I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 times in the last almost 5 years that I have made a video such as this. So, we're talking about the SJ10 Pro. Good little camera, build quality exceptional. For those of you that have been around this channel for any length of time, you know that I've been a very big proponent of SJCAM, going all the way back to this little guy, the SJ4000. And then I had the M10, the little cube. And I've never been paid by SJCAM, never been sponsored by them. But I have always believed that if a company does real well, you want to kind of put the word out. They are sending you products, so you know if it's a good product. And I think that, let me get this camera angle a little bit better. But if it's a good product, and I think that people need to know about it, and I think that it's a worthwhile product if you're on a budget, then I definitely want to pass that along. Now, SJCAM in their history has always been real good about updating firmwares on all of their cameras, developing a little bit better cameras regarding build quality, like the SJ6 Legend. Its build quality was above the SJ5000X. Then we had the SJ7 Star, which was a very premium build, metal construction, aluminum, which helped with heat dissipation at 4K. It was using the Ambarella chipset, and it was SJCAM's first attempt at using the Ambarella. Then there's been a couple of debacles with SJCAM, and I say debacles, I mean where they've made some mistakes. So we've got, like, this is the first one. I don't know if we'll let the camera focus in. That's the SJCAM Krypton. It's in the same body as what the SJ8 Pro is, so I had high expectations for the Krypton because I thought, whoa, SJ8 Pro body. Maybe they're advancing a little bit. Krypton, I don't know if there's a real definition for Krypton, but it kind of gave the illusion that it's a bigger, stronger, better product. The first one that they sent me, color profile was horrible on it because I think it had a bad image sensor. And if you look at my reviews of the SJ Krypton, I even said that. I think it was a bad sensor. They sent me this second one. I did a review on it. Color profile needed some tweaking. The EIS was not very good. And all of a sudden, they went silent on a Krypton. Okay, so they walked away from it. I'm okay with that. Then they came out with the SJ9 Strike, which was a total strike out. Build quality was very bad. The door broke off. Thank God I never took it into the water. So, okay, so there's been some revamping. Then they came out with this, the SJ10 Pro. And if you look at my initial review video of the SJ10 Pro, I talked about how this could be the best SJCAM yet. So I gave SJCAM a lot of kudos for the build quality, and I still do. The build quality, very, very, very good on this camera. The EIS, audio, color profile could stand a little bit of tweaking, but I know that SJCAM historically has always been very good about updating their firmwares for cameras. So that brings us kind of to where we are right now. So what are we talking about today, Andre? Well, we're talking about the SJ10 Pro, and I'm going to get into something else, a little drama part with SJCAM that really, really upset me. But let's talk about, okay, so I've been waiting on firmware. I told everybody when I first got this camera, and yes, SJCAM, I thank you very much. I was the first reviewer that you sent a camera to, and I did a review on it, put it up online. Like I said, I've always been a very big proponent of companies that do well. TI makes a very good camera. Firefly makes a very good camera. TI did not send me their last edition. That's okay. They don't have to. Firefly did not send me the Firefly X. They didn't have to. That's okay. So I've been contacting SJCAM, and I have two contacts at SJCAM. Two. One of them has nothing to do with firmware. Nothing. He has nothing to do with firmware. He's just kind of a company rep and helps with some other stuff. And I'm not going to name these two people, although I really, really want to, because I want to throw one of them under the bus. But I'm not going to do it. So I got sent a new firmware. Even though I told everybody in the beginning, this is a beta unit, I'm not taking it into water because the little side door here for the USB-C, it's a little on the finicky, cheesy side. Doesn't feel like it would seal very well, even though this is supposed to be a waterproof camera. But I just kind of, hey Kai, how are you doing? I didn't want to take it into the water and ruin the camera, and I was kind of, thinking, well, maybe it is a beta version. It's a pre-release, and maybe they're going to firm things up a little bit. So I didn't want to take it into the water and ruin the camera. But I did explain that this was a beta firmware. SJCAM actually asked me, said, hey, when you talk about this camera, whatever you find out, number one, let us know in your testing, which I did. I sent them a long list of all the problems that I found with this camera. But they said, please let everybody know that this is a beta unit and that it's beta firmware, so that they don't think that this is the final get ready to go to production item. And I did that in my review. I said it's a beta item. I said that it's beta firmware. So then they send me a new firmware. And I'm like, whoa, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this new firmware is going to do for this camera. And it bricked it. How did it brick it? Well, it didn't brick it to where it didn't come on anymore. It bricked it to where the rear touchscreen didn't work anymore. The on-off, because once you turned it on, it was on. You could not turn it off. If you hit the shutter button, which is the on-off button, if you hit that, it would not record. So I reached out to both of my reps regarding what's going on with this firmware. So fast forward about a week and a half. I get told, well, there's an ELF file, ELF, I believe it is, don't quote me, that I need to use the Ambarella repair software. The Ambarella is the chip maker, a repair software to get back in to this. and fix it and then re-upload the new firmware, or here's the old original firmware, re-upload it into that. Good. Now, part of the process of doing that with this SJ10 Pro is you have to remove the battery. So, and by the way, when it comes to action cameras, I know how to deal with an action camera. I know how to hold it. I know how to take the battery out. I know not to shove it in and out. I mean, I've been doing this for a little while, and I've probably got an excess of 80 action cameras. So I take the battery out, plug the USB-C cable in, plug it into the computer. They make me take a paper clip and bend it into 2 hooks like this, so that instead of just telling you, I'm going to show you here. See if you can see this. See those 2 little prongs right there? That's reset. So what you've got to do is you've got to take your paper clip that you've bent like this, touch it, and basically short out the camera, but it makes the Ambarella software connect with the camera so that you can do this repair, install this L file, and then upload your firmware. It didn't work. Did not work at all. It would not communicate with this camera, even though I shorted it. And I know that I shorted it because the back screen image would kind of turn a pinkish when it would short, and it still didn't register. So I'm like, okay, they'll figure this out. So I unplug the USB out of the side. I open up the battery or USB out of the side. I'm about to take the battery and stick it back into the camera, and what falls out? Now we'll see if I can get the camera to actually focus in on this. That falls out. Do you want to know what that is right there? Those 3 prongs is what the battery, these 3 slots, get my face out of there, maybe it'll focus. Focus. There we go. Those 3 spots right there clip onto the 3 parts of this little metal that fell out of the camera, which it fell out of the inside. Right back there where that black piece is, that's where it was connected. I have never ever, out of all the action cameras that I reviewed, and that includes the Krypton, that includes the SJ8 Pro, that includes this dude, the SJ Pro clone from Vantop, the Moment 6S, never, ever, ever has a prong that held the battery fallen out. Now, I've seen a lot of reports about SJCAM that this has happened to other users, not on the SJ10 Pro, but on other cameras, like the SJ7 apparently was very susceptible to that happening, and a lot of people were talking about it. And there's a lot of people that said, well, you just open up the camera, you go back in, and you solder back in the lead. It wasn't a good solder on it. So basically, this camera, it's a shame. It really is a shame. And I know that SJCAM is probably not going to send me another camera. And you know what? I'm really okay with that. Because this channel is about being worth it or not and honest product reviews. And the product reviews even go a little bit step further, and that's on the communication with a company and how they deal with a consumer. And yes, I am a reviewer, but I'm also a consumer. So when I'm telling you people about a product that I think is very good, or a product like the SJ10 Pro that I think has a lot of potential, and the customer service fails on it, and the build quality is problematic. What's up, Thrifty AV? How are you doing? I have to pass that on to you, the consumer. Now, my relationship with SJCAM is going on a little bit over 4 years. And I'm not doing this video to ruin a relationship. No, but I'm doing it for everybody out there to realize that something has changed. I put it up in one of the videos where I talked about SJ10 Pro, and that one of my contacts, now this is where I'm going to get to the part that's really irritated me, that one of my contacts had told me that the technical department has had a big turnover regarding firmware and engineering and all that. They assumed, and they should never assume, but they sent my second contact, which is a really nice guy who has nothing to do with any of this. They sent him a screenshot of me talking about one of my reps at SJCAM had said that there's been some technical or some changes in the technical department and firmware department or engineering, i.e., and basically gave him a hard time. You know, when the SJ5000X first came out, its color profile was hideous. Hideous. I've seen 480 video out of old cameras that had better color profiles than the 5000X. But did I say anything to SJCAM about? Did I throw them under the bus? No, I gave them an opportunity. I told them what I thought. I thought the reds looked like orange and orange looked like red. And so they went back and they fixed all of that. And that's great. And with the Krypton, I didn't throw them under the bus about the Krypton, that they never got back to me about a firmware on it. They just kind of abandoned the whole project. Okay, well, that's on them. I'm not going to bash them. The SJ10 Pro, it has some issues. I was very nice in that review, but I did bring those issues to the forefront. And I did let SJCAM know. They said that they were actively working, but because of the whole pandemic situation, they were actively working, on a skeleton crew, but they're working on the SJ10 because this is going to replace the SJ9 Strike. Everything that the SJ9 Strike was never, the SJ10 Pro was going to be. And they were still using the Ambarella H22 chipset with it. It's, and I've had a lot of people, they'll make comments about, well, the SJ10 Pro is no different than the SJ8 Pro. And, in that regard, a lot of the internals are the same, although you cannot swap firmwares because some of the components are put together differently. But this one is waterproof. And, when you talk about a waterproof camera like the Osmo Action or the the GoPro Hero 5, GoPro Hero 6 that I've got, GoPro Hero 7, the GoPro Hero 8, they're all waterproof. So I understand SJCAM's philosophy of trying to get into the all-in-one camera, a camera that you don't have to put into a separate waterproof case. But sometimes I think that if something ain't broken that you've been doing, kind of just don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, it's round, it's rolling. You are a budget alternative to the GoPro cameras out there. But I think that when you sent, and SJCAM, I know that you watch these videos because when you screenshot just that one little segment and sent it to this gentleman, that means you watch these videos. And you can watch this video and you can give it a thumbs down, and I really don't care, SJCAM, because you've been doing that to a couple of my videos. But, when it comes to thumbs down, a lot of people don't understand. Guess what? It doesn't matter. YouTube doesn't say, oh, somebody thumbs down that video, so it's a bad video, we're not going to show it. YouTube looks at thumbs ups and thumbs down, and they say it's engagement. You engage your audience enough to where they made something, an up or a down. Fine. So I don't care if you want to give my video a thumbs down, SJCAM. You can do it until the earth goes flat. I just don't like the fact that you send out a firmware that is not ready to be sent out, and it bricks a camera. Then I appreciate the fact that you send me all the stuff from Ambarella on how to fix and get the camera to communicate with the Ambarella software to fix this and put this little L file in, which will allow the camera to now to accept new updates. But that still didn't work. And then when I'm just like, okay, I kind of give up. Software is not my deal. I'm not an expert on software at all. And I read through the instructions and I did it step by step. And I just kind of gave up. But when I went to go put the battery in and this little piece falls out that works with the battery, that was disappointing. So what have I got here? I've got a SJ10 Pro that is absolutely useless to me. I may open it up because I am very good at soldering and I'm very good at electronics as far as soldering and repairing electronics. So I may open this back up, find this little dude's home where it belongs, and solder that back in. But then again, the camera's bricked. I mean, it'll turn on. You can look at an image on the back of the screen. You can't record with it, so that's kind of useless. I've got an extra battery that I can use either with the Krypton, which I don't use the Krypton because this color profile is horrible. I can use it with the SJ Pro. I can use it with the Vantab Moment 6S, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. But, there's been a lot of people that have talked about, SJCAM, they're not doing this, or SJCAM, they've changed this, or SJCAM, their customer service department sucks. And why am I putting up this video? I got 78 emails over the last 5 days, 78 emails saying, when's the next update for the SJ10 Pro? When's the next update? When's the next update? And rather than me sending out 78 blanket emails to people to say this and this and this is what happened, I just thought I'd put up a video. This camera doesn't work for me anymore. SJCAM, if you want to send out a new SJ10 Pro with your new firmware, with the ELF file already done, so you've taken care of that portion of it, great. Great. And if it's better than what the beta firmware was on this camera, great. I'll be more than happy to do a good video on it. But I have a sneaking suspicion that SJCAM has put me on their radar because I know that one of my contacts, not the good guy contact, the one that actually was trashing SJCAM themselves, and SJCAM, if you're listening, I'll let you know. His first name starts with an L. Should be very easy for you to figure out then. But I totally got off track there. But if you want to send me a new one, great. If you don't want to, no sweat. It's not like I'm anti-SJCAM, but I will say that all these people that have complained about SJCAM, and it's really been over the last year, I've tried my best to come to your rescue and to give you always the benefit of the doubt. And there's been people that have purchased like the SJ Pro, and they had these problems where it was freezing. That's me knocking on wood. Mine never froze. I never had any issues with it. I've updated the firmware continuously on the SJ Pro, and it's always been an improvement each time. But I've always been there to defend you, SJCAM. I can't do it, especially when I'm on this side. I'm a reviewer of one of your products, and now I see firsthand some of the little devious behind the scenes, how you treat some of your employees that didn't even have anything to do with telling me that your technical team has been swapped out and that you don't have the same firmware group that you did before. That wasn't this one guy's fault. That was L's fault. So you can look him up and have a chat with him and then give him a lot of grief. But I'm going to take a quick look at the comment section here. Bear with me. Let's see. Thrifty AV sounds like the reset is like using a jumper to reset CMOS on the motherboard. Yeah, I think it's just a quick little short, but a short to where it would get the communication port open to where it would actually talk to the Ambarella software. Let's see. I think is it pronounced Kai or Kai? I'm going to go with Kai, okay? So if I messed that up, I apologize. Customer service is one of the paramount pieces of online buying puzzles. Poor customer service stops me from buying as quickly as bad products. Amen to that. because, especially right now with the trying economic times that we're all going through, your dollar can spend anywhere. You can spend it at SJCAM, you can spend it on GoPro, you can spend it at DJI, you can spend it on Firefly, you can spend it with Thei. The list goes on and on and on. It's how they treat the customer after the sale, or treat the customer during a situation where a customer has a problem. I mean, I've gotten involved in 2 different other cases about 7-8 months ago where an SJCAM owner was having difficulty with his camera, and SJCAM, they deleted his tickets. So he would put in, they make a ticket, and then they deleted his tickets. So then I got involved and got a response. The response was not really the response that I thought that should have been, and I was almost embarrassed, because you got to remember, people, when you watch this channel, I don't work for any of these people. I get 0 sponsor money. So I am not tied to anybody to say anything favorable about anybody just because they sent me a product. And don't get me wrong, I'm always appreciative that a company sends me a product for me to review, but that doesn't mean that I'm entitled to them to skew my opinion about whatever the product is. Always give them an opportunity to rectify or look into a problem that I found, but that's about all, because I am a consumer. That's how this whole channel kind of started. Let's see here. Thrifty AV, it's all engagement. Yes, it is. I don't care. Thumbs up, thumbs down. It's engagement. And that's all that YouTube cares about. I mean, you can have, hypothetically, you put up a video and somebody gives you 600 thumbs down and only 1 thumb up. You know what YouTube says? We love your video. People engaged with it. We'll promote your video. I mean, so like I said, SJCAM, you continue thumbs down, and that's fine. There's another YouTuber that thumbs down my videos, and that's okay. I don't know why this guy, KR, he's got an issue, but, hey, thanks for the engagement. Let's see. You need dash cams with today's drivers. Absolutely. I'd mentioned on my last live stream about the Rexing V1 Pro dash camera that I really liked, and I had it in my Challenger, and it went dead. And I only had that dash camera for about 8 months, but keeping in mind that I only drive the Challenger like once or twice a month, and it's not like I do hundreds of miles trip. I'll do maybe 20, 30 miles whenever I'm driving it. So I'm looking for a new dash camera. I do want a dash camera that has the mile per hour on the screen. I don't want to use an app on my phone to do that. I don't like third-party apps. Let's see. Battery compatibility across different cameras might be a good video. I'll keep that in mind, Thrifty AV. And if I do a video like that, I will definitely give you credit for doing that to show, because there are a lot of batteries that are cross-compatible. A lot of people have to be careful, though, just because a battery, and I know I shouldn't have to say this, but just because a battery is the same size, there we go, the same size as another battery, this is what you got to pay attention to. You got to pay attention to which terminal the polarity is, because God forbid you throw in a battery that, oh my God, it's the same size. The prongs are on the same side. They're spaced the same much apart. If the polarity is backwards, you got bad news happening. Let's see. Kai, I recently had a couple of issues with replica surfaces. Contacted them, and they went way above and beyond on making me happy. Let's sell a solid customer service at this point, because it is use changes. Customer service. If you do not have good customer service, you will not last long in any industry. If it's a restaurant, if you are Best Buy, if you are DJI, you just won't last long, because the consumer, you and I, are going to feel like, oh, you liked me when you took my money to buy a $7 or $8 or $1,400 drone, but now that I'm having some issues, you're basically pushing me off to the curb. Customers have a good memory, and good experiences don't last as long in your memory as a bad experience. A bad experience with a company will sour taste in your mouth and you'll be done with that company. At least that's the way that this dude right here operates. If I've had a bad experience, I tend to just stay away from the company. Let's see. Replica Surface does realistic photo surface backgrounds for product photography. Oh, okay. Well, I was kind of wondering what Replica Services was. I figured, well, after the stream was over with, I'd go and kind of look it up. So it's good that you explained that. There's a dash cam front and rear with recording with recording unit trunk mounted. Well, hey, M Hammer, trunk mounted. That's interesting. So I guess that way you don't have to worry about somebody like stealing the dash cam and walking away with your footage if maybe it's being recorded into the trunk area. Let's see. Yes, about battery compatibility. Couldn't find a U.S. seller for SJCAM 8 Pro. You know, I kind of ran into that with, I did a video a couple of months ago with the Yi M1 and that little micro four thirds camera. God, that thing had so much potential. And I'm surprised that Yi just walked away from it. But I think that they looked at it and said, the micro four thirds market, and I don't know, maybe they're going to come out with an M2. But I think maybe they said, you know what, we're better off with doing home security stuff, dash cameras and action cameras. And they just kind of walked away from it. But those batteries for the EM1 were impossible to find until I found a seller actually on Amazon. And I tested them thoroughly. They're the same milliamp per hour. They last the same amount of time. So... So that about finishes it up. If anybody else has a question, if you want to throw it into the chat area, I'll be more than happy to do it. What I'm going to do one day, I may do it the weekend of my birthday, which is the middle of June. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I will do a live stream one day. Just ask me anything. Whatever it is that you guys want to talk about, we'll talk about it. If you want to talk about my big camera setups, some of the other commercial stuff that I shoot, if you want to ask, well, hey, you said something about soldering, you know, how do you get into that? I'll be more than happy to answer any of those things. Hopefully this Fifine, and I hope it's called Fifine, Fifine. I don't know if it's Fifine or Fifine or Fifine, but hopefully this one sounds actually pretty good. Anyway, no other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Like I said, I'm going to put this video into the community tab on the channel. So if you're wondering, hey, what happened to that little, I hate to call it a rant, but let's just call it what it is. What happened to that rant video on SJ10 and SJCAM and Andre's experiences with it? It will be in the community tab. And like I said, I'm going to unlist the video, put it in the community tab. You're more than welcome. Go check it out. Knock yourselves out. I just don't want to put this type of video on an upload section of this channel because I want to do product reviews. And speaking of product reviews, I've got, the list is ever growing. There's now 19 items that I have got to finish up. One of them being, I don't know if you could see in the background, get the microphone out of the way, but that dude right there, that is the Tech AK2000S gimbal. That thing's a monster. It is a monster of a gimbal. I've been so surprised with it. Let's see. Hey, Kai, thanks for another good video, Andre. This was fun. Hey, thanks for joining in. Thank you for joining in, Kai. Thanks to everybody. D. Will, Emma Hammer, Thrifty AV. Glad I caught this. I had the SJ10 on my wish list. It'll be taken off of it now. You know, Thrifty AV, you're a cool cat. I like your videos. You're directing right to the point, and it's a lot of money. Don't quote me. I want to say it's like $249, and for $249, you are now in the territory of getting an Osmo Pocket or Osmo Action, or for a couple bucks more, a Hero 8. And if you look at a lot of my intro videos when I'm standing outside, I'm talking like I did with the beginning of the Akaso Brave 6 video. That was the Hero 8 with the media mod. Audio's good, video's great on it. So, you know, for this kind of money, the quality needs to be better. Firmware is one thing, and I would have given them a break to say, okay, you got another month or so, figure out the firmware, figure out how to get the firmware to actually upload into this camera. But when pieces of the inside start falling out, and I've only had the battery in and out of here 3 times. That's it. The whole time I've had it. I've always charged it through the USB-C port. It's kind of bad news. Let's see. Last little thing I'm going to look at here. Thanks to you for all the good, honest videos. Keep it up and wish good luck to your channel. Well, thank you very much, RMC. I appreciate it. You know, this channel, there's a lot of people that go, you know, wow, I want to be famous. I want to do this. You know, if the channel grows, great. I'm very, very happy. Sometimes I'll look at the analytics and go, well, there's like 40% of the people that watch the videos are not subscribed. And then another month, it'll be 60% that watch videos that 30-day cycle were not subscribed. If someone watches the channel and sees an item and sees an honest review and they decide not to subscribe, I'm okay with that because I'm trying to steer a potential consumer either in a good direction or away from a product. So either way, I've done my mitzvah, so to speak. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish out Thrifty AV. Like I said, I'll take a look at battery comparisons, see which batteries work with what cameras, because since I've got a ton on the shelf over there, I can do that. So maybe some people will know that they can kind of cross-brand batteries for certain different cameras. But until the next time that we all get together, it's Saturday. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself. I'm sorry I've got the air conditioner running, that little window unit. Our main air conditioner went out in the house, and it is hot as Hades outside in Texas today. So I've got to be cool. I'm too big of a guy. I'm 6'6". I'm a big guy, so I get hot real easy. So anyway, I hope you guys have yourself a very good day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Like I said, this video will go into the community. Thrifty AV, thank you for the shout out. Good job. Look forward to the next one. Thank you very much, Thrifty AV. Appreciate you. You're a good guy. And we'll talk to everybody later. And let's see. Well, let's call this a day. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. Didn't hear your AC over my AC. You know, I was kind of hoping that this microphone wouldn't pick up that AC blowing back there, and it's good to hear Thrifty AV that it wasn't. Kai, hey buddy, have yourself a great weekend, and to everybody, have a good weekend. Wear your mask, wash your hands, stay safe, and Jimmy McNulty, is it McNulty? Yeah. Sorry, the screen for the chat is really small right here on OBS. Appreciate your 2 cents. Yep. And Hammer, have yourself a good one. Peace. Be good. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.